a high level of empathy. A sharp mind isn't all about intellect, it's also about emotional intelligence.
I have empathy where empathy is appropriate. I don't have empathy for ignorance. I
Yeah.
don't have empathy for stupidity. I don't have empathy for people that put themselves in stupid positions. But I can empathize with things that are unjust,
Yeah, yeah.
that are just fundamentally wrong, and somebody's been wrong in that, and so it's there. But again, it's limited to a degree. I'm not going to extend empathy to somebody I don't deem worthy of it.
10 signs your mind is sharper than the average person. So, what I wanted to do was see if your mind is still sharper than the average person. Would you say it is? I'm going to go through this other
I'm
thing.
10 for 10. The average person is a millimeter from retardation.
Now, I need you to be honest.
Okay,
Okay. All right.
I try to be.
Number one is quick decision making. That is a
Yes.
key hallmark of the sharp mind is the ability to make quick and effective decisions. What do you think about yourself in that regard?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, clear mind, quick decisions, firm decisions, keep it moving. And you kind of like rep through things like when you're not even in the moment to make that decision.
Yeah.
Like you will listen to, okay, I can't help but listen to a story that you're telling me, and I'm making decisions in the story. That's how
Yeah.
my mind works.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, why would he do that? I'm not always saying everything out loud, but that's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that was a terrible decision. Like, why didn't he do this?
Yeah. Okay. Number two is a obsession with learning. Okay. Another indication of a sharp mind is the thirst for knowledge.
I think that's perspective. I agree that it is a thing of a sharp mind. I think that I do that, but I do that in narrow fields at this point in my life.
Right.
There's a lot of things that I have just deemed like not worthy of my time or energy, and I'm not going to try to learn about them.
Yeah.
Now, my kids will tell you that I'm closed-minded because of that, but I still have like immense like interest in certain things and continue to devour information.
Number three, adaptability. Adaptability is another defining trait of a sharp mind. What do you think? To be able to adapt to different environments, challenges.
Agree completely. Agree
Okay.
completely. That was for me like one of my biggest I think transformations is like in coaching was you go into a game and you have like a game plan or you have a vision of how the game's going to play out, and it's healthy to visualize, both as playing and even coaching, but you get a lot better when you can make rapid decisions and adapt to what's happening as it's happening, and not waiting until because what I would always say is like when I was at a certain point, like all my best coaching adjustments were on the ride home, and oh yeah, we should have done that, we should have done that, but then you get to a point when you're doing it right, where you're making changes and adapting as the game unfolds, and the quicker you do that, you gain advantage over your opponent.
Number four, spotting patterns. Okay, the ability to spot patterns is another characteristic of a sharp mind. This isn't just about recognizing visual designs, but also about identifying trends, habits, and sequences in various
Behavioral
contexts.
patterns,
Yeah.
yeah. I do that all the time.
You can spot them. Okay.
Yeah.
Number five. I don't know. This is going to be tough now. A high level of empathy. A sharp mind isn't all about intellect. It's also about emotional intelligence.
I have empathy where empathy is appropriate. I don't have empathy for ignorance.
Yeah.
I don't have empathy for stupidity. I don't have empathy for people that put themselves in stupid positions. But I can empathize with things that are unjust,
Yeah.
that are just fundamentally wrong, and somebody's been wrong in that, and so it's there. But again, it's limited to a degree. I'm not going to extend empathy to somebody I don't deem worthy of it.
Yeah. Number six is the one you might like. Resilience in the face of adversity. So life can be tough, but those with sharp minds often have an extraordinary ability to bounce back from adversity.
You have to.
Yeah.
One of the things I like, Mike Norvell, like his big thing is respond. It's like it just echoes through the program, and because no matter what happens, like the only legitimate thing that you could do is respond. Like, unless you're going to choose to lay dead and just give up and, just not do anything, your only choice is to respond.
Yeah.
And the thing is you can't let your emotions get the better of you because your emotions want you to wallow. Your emotions want to consume you. And that consumption equates with inactivity. But when you think logically and you get through the emotions, like I could be sad, I could be hurt, I could be in pain, I could be all these things, but nothing's changing that I have to do something.
Yeah.
And when you figure that out, it changes everything. Some people it's like a bad thing happens to them and they're done for days. But it's just not realistic.
Number 7, excellent memory recall. So it's not just about remembering facts and figures, but also about recalling experiences, conversations, and feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's big. There was a thing I read a book several years ago. It was kind of about like greatness, and one of the things that they talked about is like when somebody's on a pathway toward greatness, one of the things that they will hopefully encounter is what they called a master coach, and a master coach is somebody that's been in the field in the area for a long time, and what they have is they've built up literally like a memory bank of all these different things that they can draw from to help you get to where you need to go. Because it's not like there's not every pathway is not the same. It varies, it changes, but it's like if I could pull something out, from a different scenario or that was some parallel to where your mind is right now or where your skills are right now and give that to you, that's immensely valuable.
Yeah.
And you can't do that if you don't have the ability to kind of like remember, catalog these experiences, techniques, stories, whatever, at a pretty good level.
All right. Number 8, when daydreaming. So while often seen as a sign of distraction, daydreaming can actually indicate a sharp mind.
Are those wet dreams or dry dreams? Daydreaming.
Linked to a highly active brain. Do you daydream at all?
Not often, I would say. Like, I really don't.
Yeah.
I focus on staying like in the moment. I think it's a healthier place to be. So like whatever you're doing, you try to do that to the best that you can. And I also kind of have like the running like schedule of responsibilities too.
Yeah.
So you're kind of, you try, it's, to me, it's more about not so much daydreaming. I don't do that a lot, but it's like, okay, what am I doing right now that I need to be effective at? And then like, what other, things do I have to get done this day?
Yeah.
And so you're kind of toggling all those things.
Exactly. Enjoying solitude. So while many see solitude as something lonely or sad, those with sharp minds often cherish it.
Yeah, I think that's valid. I think that there's the solitude does allow you to think. I don't. Maybe like daydreaming might be a little connected in that.
Yeah, I think
But
so.
there's times when you're like when you are by yourself. I have like a Tesla, so I end up charging the thing, and a lot of times when I'm charging, I walk, and I walk by myself.
Yeah.
It might be 30 minutes, might be an hour, whatever, and like for me, that time is I always enjoy that. Like I don't have to, to engage somebody in conversation. I can kind of be in my own thoughts, and whether it's kind of working out how I want to approach a situation or something like that. So I could see that.
Number 10, and lastly, lifelong curiosity. Perhaps the most significant sign of a sharp mind is an enduring sense of curiosity.
That's Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Be curious, not judgmental.
Be curious and not judgmental.
Yeah. No, that is that. I mean, and that's the beauty of that scene.
Yeah.
Because that rings 100% true. Like if you legitimately feel like you have all the answers and can't review something and look at it, or want to understand something better, or nothing like interests you, that your mind is dead.
Yeah.
But if you could watch something and it kind of catches your attention and you kind of want to like figure it out, learn more about it, or what have you, or you're just if somebody's telling you a story, or you're reading something or watching something that's giving you information, and you want to, like, it fuels a fire to do more. What I think I talked about this before. Like for me, like one thing that commonly happens is like I'll find something. Like I remember, like the first time I heard Sam Cooke sing, and knew what it was. It was back in the day. They would have these like commercials where they would have like 5 album sets of various music, and they had gospel music. And while they're running the commercial for 1999, you could get 5 albums, the greatest gospel hits ever. They're playing songs, and they played Sam Cooke, "Touch the Hem of His Garment," and I just was blown away by the voice. And I'm like, "Who's that?" And I like started researching and looked him up, and then like found all his music, became like a huge fan, and all this other stuff. And it was just kind of out of that thing of like I'm watching some shitty commercial, and next thing you know, I've identified my favorite musical artist in history.
Became a fan of Sam, but not a fan of gospel music.
Gospel music is the only redeeming element of church. The actual preaching is like,
Because some of the best singers, man, come from that church, man.
oh, it is a tremendous breeding ground for musical talent.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, I don't think there's a better breeding ground for it, because you get to play, in a setting. Usually it's free, maybe make a few dollars here or there. But like, typically a church needs a band, and they're willing to give somebody the opportunity to do something and show what they could do. And it's you have a captive audience, so it's like you don't have to rely on putting butts in seats like where the ward will do that. So you just you can do that. You can experiment, and typically you're around other musicians. My son, he was in a church band for a while with Pastor Brian, who's a friend of mine.
Oh yeah.
And it was a really great experience. Pastor Brian could really sing, and he kind of became a lot musically, and it was just really a good experience. But I would go for like the musical parts, and then I'd have to leave during the preaching. I gotta get the hell out of here. I couldn't take it, man. I love Pastor Brian. He's my guy. I'm gonna send him this clip for sure. But like the actual preaching, like when you say like the first 2 words of a sentence and repeat it 8 times, I can't handle that. I cannot handle that. Like that just doesn't.
That's like universal almost for like preaching.
Oh God,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
There's so many devices to it. It's like
Yeah.
it's like high level palm reading. Like you're just kind of throwing shit out there and hoping it resonates. You keep everything kind of general enough so that the audience can, in their mind, they're processing it to their experience and what they're going through,
Yeah.
and they feel like you're speaking to them, but you're actually you're speaking to everybody. Yeah. Yeah. That's.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Because one of their main they're supposed to be entertaining. One of their main jobs is to entertain that crowd. If you will.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, yeah, preaching the word or whatever, but it has to be in an entertaining way.
Yeah.
That's how you
You're not
cultivate
trying to
bigger
bore
crowds.
people to death over there.
Yeah, man.
Though, I see it goes full circle with Sam Cooke. So one of the first couple times I went there, Pastor Brian was singing "Were You There?" and it's a gospel song Sam Cooke did, and he changed one of the lyrics. And after he was finished singing, I kind of went up and talked to him. I go, "I love the Sam Cooke, but why did you change the lyric?" And the look on his face was like, just he almost fell over. He's like, "Why? How did this guy know I changed the lyric?" I'm like, "I know fucking Sam Cooke songs, like all of them."